Merry Christmas and Blessed New Year, GCF Vancouver. I hope and pray that you're enjoying this holiday season with your family. And to those who are not complete as a family like me, for any reason, may you experience God's embrace in this time of the year. A few days ago, my family went to Red Deer and passed a street filled with bright Christmas lights. As we were driving, I told my granddaughters what I felt the first time Lalaine and I experienced snow in the United States. It felt like we were inside a Christmas card. Really? Yeah. I began to wonder why so many Christmas cards show snow during Christmas. Maybe it's because snow makes everything look peaceful, clean, and beautiful. It slows people down and makes moment feel special. For many, snow has become a symbol of the joy, wonder, and calm that people hope to feel during Christmas. Even the portrayal of the Magi in the Christmas cards often show the Magi as peaceful, calm, and restful travelers on a long journey. They are actually pictured as wise and dignified men wearing rich royal clothing and carefully carrying gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh as signs of honor and worship. Many images place them under a quiet night sky, guided by the bright star, with calm and respectful expressions on their faces. However, this picture is very different in the real life situation of the Magi when Jesus was born. What can we learn from the faith journey of the Magi? My sermon this morning is entitled Following the Star, a Journey of Faith. And I'm using our church acronym GCFV for my major points. And our text is found in Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 to 12. Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 to 12. The first thing I would like to point out is that G, guided by God, the Magi trust his direction. How do we describe trust in the context of Matthew chapter 2? Trust is active reliance on God's revelation expressed through obedience, risk taking, and perseverance. The Magi trust God not because they possess full clarity, but because they respond faithfully to partial but sufficient revelation. It says in verse 1 and 2, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, where is the one who was born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. We can see the first element of trust by the Magi. It begins with limited revelation. The Magi act on incomplete knowledge. They know a king has been born. They do not know his exact location. They do not know the political danger involved, how long the journey would take, where exactly the child was, what dangers would they face. Still, they choose to go. Yet they travel a long distance based on a sign given by God. For the Magi, task means moving forward without complete information, believing that God's revelation is reliable even when it is not exhaustive. Trusting God begins or means starting the journey even when you do not have all the answers. I saw this in the life also of Mary and Joseph. As we all know, Mary was told that he would bear the Messiah, but was not told how Joseph would react, how society would treat her, how she would later watch her son suffer. She responded, let it be to me according to your word. And that is submission without full understanding. For Joseph, given instruction through dreams, take Mary as your wife, flee to Egypt, return later. Each step revealed only when necessary. For Joseph, guidance was given one step at a time. Similar to Magi, They obey because of their trust that begins with limited limitation. Second, trust continues in time of uncertainty. Look at the sequence of the star's appearance and reappearance. Appear in Magi's place of birth in Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 and 2. It disappears during much of the journey. Only appears after they leave Jerusalem, remains until it leads them precisely to Jesus. These patterns create intentional uncertainty in the journey. The Magi trusted God when they saw the star, even though they did not know how long the journey would be, where the child was, or what dangers would they face. Instead of waiting for all the answers, they chose to begin the journey of faith. As they traveled, the star disappeared, which must have been confusing and discouraging. They could have turned back or given up, but they kept going in search for guidance in Jerusalem. When they reached Jerusalem, their faith was tested again by danger, uncertainty, and being far from home. The story of the Magi teaches us that teaching God or trusting God means continuing to follow Him even when the path is unclear and difficult. And finally, their trust ended with joy. Verse 10 says, when they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. This is probably the strongest expressions of joy in the gospel. Their joy comes after continued obedience. There are different concepts of joy in the Bible. It is a gift based on the grace of God. It is a choice sometimes in response to God's command. But here, joy is the fruit of trust. The Magi rejoice because they see God's guidance confirmed. This was the experience of the Magi. Guided by God, they trust His direction. They trust with limited revelation. Their trust continued in times of uncertainty, and their trust ended in joy. I believe, like the Magi, we are in a journey in the same way God guided us, GCF Vancouver. Some came here to Canada to work, some for family, some for better future, some fleeing hardship or uncertainty. Opportunities opened, doors closed, papers were approved, times worked out. Like the star, God used circumstances to guide our steps. Like the Magi, many of you came to Canada with fear, with limited knowledge, without knowing if credentials would be recognized. As I see in a lot of cases here, without knowing if loneliness would be overwhelming, without knowing if children would adjust, without knowing if sacrifices would be worth it. Like the Magi experience uncertainties too. Harsh winters, homesickness, cultural adjustments, financial pressure, immigration issues, fitting in between cultures. Yet, like the Magi, you keep moving forward. The challenge is to end with joy. Are you ending 2025 with joy? How does your trust in God exercise this year? As we reflect on these questions, let's remember that the Magi was guided by God. In response, they trust and follow His directions.